Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Against the Public. It's Friday night. We did get to do a night show once in a while. September 29th, 2023. We're on the eve of another massive college football card, and believe me, we're gonna do what we've done on a daily basis on this show, and that is put more cash into your bankroll. We're the only segment that comes through early betting patterns by the public, tells you exactly where the money is going and where those wagers are a little bit misguided. Tonight we're going to go through 5 college football selections that have received the majority of the early money wagered and explain why you need to steer clear of these betting patterns. Before we get started, I thought it'd be fun. We did this on the early show with baseball. We did a segment inside this segment called All Time Friday, and which means we're going to kind of go back in history, this time to 2005, and see exactly which teams in college football since 2005 are the best to bet on and the teams that are the worst to bet on. No, this is not some handicapping tool I want you to take into the weekend. It's just numbers, just fun to know, because sometimes we lose sight of these things, which programs are the best against the spread, which ones to stay away from. So let's get to it real quick. The number 3, and these will start with the best. These are the best programs over since 2005. You do the math, 18, 19 years. Oklahoma State coming in at number 3, 119, 92, and 5 against the spread. That's good for 56% winners, plus 20.35 units. Number 2, Ohio State, 121, 89, and 5 ATS, 58% winners, plus 25.86 units. And number 1, believe it or not, the Kansas State Wildcats, 122, 87, and 2, also 58% winners, just a little bit ahead with the units, plus 27.80 units won. The worst teams, well, let's start it off with New Mexico State, 85, 115, and 2, 43% winners since 2005, minus 34.76 units. Followed them up with the Utah Miners, not Utah Miners, UTEP Miners, 89 and 121, 42% winners, minus 36.37 units. And the worst team to bet on since 2005, we've touched upon this in previous videos, the New Mexico Lobos, 85, 121, and 4, 41% winners, minus 39.69 units. Outside of a 7-game season in 2020, the Lobos have not had a winning season against the number since 2012. If you have any questions about sports numbers, which is kind of my thing, feel free to DM me at Dana Lane Sports, or please leave them in the comment section on the YouTube page. Before we get started, before we get to our games, I just want to remind everybody, at Pickdawgz right now, I have my 3 top college football selections locked in. You can pick them up as individual plays. You can get all 3 right now for $54.99. Utah State, UConn will get us started tomorrow. Bowling Green, Georgia Tech, followed by Oregon, Washington, and Washington, and Oregon State. Another profitable night in college football last night brings my current record to 12-3 on the website. Not too shabby heading into Friday night, so that record is pending our results tonight, but not too bad. And right now you can get all 3 games for $54.99. And of course, every package comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee. Heading into our Friday show, heading into this show, excluding whatever we do as far as our record is concerned tonight, 32-13 on the show, 71% winners. So let's go ahead and add to that. We're going to start down in the Big Easy. UAB at the Tulane Green Wave. The Green Wave are up to minus 21.5 on the back of 96% of the money coming in on Tulane after opening at 20. This is up to 21.5. And this is just a matter of UAB's defense showing up, because I think they can keep pace with Tulane from an offensive standpoint. But defensively, they haven't been very good this year. Focus has to be slowing down Michael Pratt. And this year they have 55 quarterback pressures. There's 13 sacks. They do get a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, so they will have a shot to do this. That's something I'm betting that they will do tomorrow. So I love these, especially when it went up to 21.5, as you can imagine. There's too many points here. I think UAB gives Pratt just enough of a problem to cover that 21 4.5. Game number 2, Texas A&M -6 against Arkansas. 60% of the action this week has been on the home team plus the points. Opening number was 6.5. Now it's down to 6, and that's a really good number. And I understand why the betting public is on that, because it looks like Connor Wigman's going to be out for the rest of the season with that foot injury, which means LSU transfer Max Johnson's going to take over. Word out of College Station is people that I talked to said there is no worry whatsoever with Max Johnson. Of course, we saw that against Auburn last week, came in and played fantastic in that backup role. This is an overreaction by the public after losing the quarterback. We're going to take the Aggies minus the 6. BC against Virginia. BC at home, the 3.5-point favorites. This is an interesting matchup. 80% of the money is on the Eagles minus 3.5. That opened at -2, and BC has played really well over the last couple of weeks. A narrow loss to Florida State. Then they come back against Louisville, and they absolutely get smoked in the game on the scoreboard. In fact, they were down, 28-0 real early in that game. But if you look at them statistically and offensively, I mean, they really played well. I mean, it was, the third time this year they've been over 400 yards in total offense. So from that standpoint, I think BC has to feel pretty good about themselves. But Virginia is the worst scoring offense and defense in the ACC. So you look at this number and you go, well, what a kind of a head scratcher here, isn't it? This to me looks like a good old-fashioned trap. We're going to take Virginia plus the 3.5. Arizona State at Cal Golden Bear, an early start there, 12 o'clock Pacific time start. It looks like the Bears are up to 13.5 after 78% of the early money has flowed in on Cal. Pretty impressive last week that Arizona State was able to stick around against USC. They are out on their first road game of the season, but should be feeling pretty good about themselves. Watched that game late last week and thought this is an ASU team that I thought really would go away in the fourth quarter, and fourth quarter is really when they played well. Of course, Cal also matched up against the top 10 team, losing to Washington, gave up 59 points. And we expect former quarterback Drew Pine, who played last week, he's going to be in this week for Jaden Rashada, who's going to be out for the rest of the season. And Pine put up decent numbers, but the key for him, and this was not done versus USC, or they probably would have had a shot to at least make this a one-score game. They got to keep him upright. That offensive line last week could not contain USC, and Pine was running for his life. I think they'll do a better job this week. Take ASU plus that 13.5, and boy, would I like the 14 in that, but we'll take the 13.5 as well. And finally, Ball State at Western Michigan. 79% of the money is in on the Broncos, moving this line up from pick to Western Michigan -1. And we'll see what a player-only meeting can do for Ball State. They were torn up by Georgia Southern. Every word coming out is, hey, look, this is a brand new season now. We're starting conference play. This is a revenge spot after a loss last year to the Broncos. And Mike New, right after that loss, I mean, you watched him in that press conference, head coach Mike New said, hey, look, basically, if you want to be here and you want to get better and you want to play good football, then show up again on practice next week. If not, don't show up. And he basically called his team out in the media. And that's really good, because I think the next time out is when those sort of things kind of take effect. And of course, there was a players only meeting as well. So there is a reset button that was hit by the Ball State Cardinals. We're going to take Ball State plus the 1. To recap, UAB, the Blazers, plus 21.5, Texas A&M -6, Virginia plus 3.5, ASU plus 13.5, and Ball State plus 1. That does it for today's Against the Public show. I think I might have kept this under 10 minutes. Not really sure. Remember to go to pickdawgz.com, get my college football 3-packs right now, $54.99, or purchase each game individually. Each play comes with our Pick Dawg win guarantee. And if you're confident in what we're doing, and the records, I always lean on my records. They always speak for themselves. When we're not doing well, I'm not throwing a bunch of hype up there. Records will always speak for themselves. If you're confident in what we're doing, get a long-term package right now. Ensure your success through the rest of 2023 and into 2024. Either way, make sure you're going to get involved. We have a massive day on Saturday, and even bigger day on Sunday. What a week last week in the NFL. We're going to jump on the NFL again like we did last week and make some more money. It should be an amazing weekend. So thank you for your continued support and nice comments. Let's keep this thing rolling. I'm Dana Lane, All the best to you and your wagers this weekend.